Hello, hello, hello again. Uh, I'm gonna just stop saying that this is the last because it seems like um, I'm not reading the book. I'm not reading this Holy Megillah like straight through. I'm scrolling and finding different stories, and I'm finding ones that um, kind of go with the first book I did. So this is Shebah tells the story of Pistis Sophia. Pistis Sophia was in the Nazarene. I mean Nagamati library. The Apocrypha of John tells her story as being an Aeon who had a baby by herself. Well, I wanted anybody who heard that story on my channel to have the opportunity to hear this version because, like I said, it's completely different and I wanted to share. So I'm going to read this real quick. I don't think it's that short, but we'll get through it. Okay, bear with me. I bring a bit of ancient Nazarene lore and ask Migdana to record it for inclusion in the next edition of the Holy Megillah, Nazarene Bible of the Essene Way. In the early ages of the Mother Ovum, before the Lord and Lady had manifested multiple bodies, for there had yet been no need, the Lord Christ Jade went on a mission and asked the Lady Christ Jane to wait for him. Jade did not desire to be away from his beloved Jannah, but his mission was to a realm that had fallen into darkness, and he wished to spare Jannah the rotten stench of such a realm. While Jade was away, a messenger, first Spark, came to Jannah with news of the foul activities of Beelzebub in another sector of the Mother Ova. First Spark reported that many were suffering beneath the dark deposition of Beelzebub, who masqueraded as God in the galaxy that he once served as Chief Abram. The story was as follows. In the days before his fall, Beelzebub was a cherubim overseer of a galaxy. It is the duty of the Abraham and Sarah of the highest heaven of a galaxy to help the souls of their galaxy graduate to the next highest galaxy. But Beelzebub, having been hailed as God on a visit to a first heaven of a star in his galaxy, decided that he liked being God, and he decided not to graduate the souls of his dominion, but to keep them in his realm and be their God. He then hatched a plan and began to implement it. Yea, for long ages he implemented the stages of his plan, and when the time was right, and he had many compatriots in his fall, compatriots in his fall, he informed all who were in his way that they had graduated this galaxy and would be sent to the next highest galaxy. But lo, it was a trap. This was the first Luciferian rebellion, which is when cherubim rebel against Elohim and Jaja. These rebellions have been few, and this was the first. For lo, no Elephim cherubim from Madihava have ever fallen. Some other races of cherubim have fallen, though very few considering the fathomless time that has unfolded. This is the story of the part that Jade and Janae played in the redemption of the galaxy that had fallen to Beelzebub. Having heard the report of First Spark about the evil doings in Beelzebub's galaxy, Janae felt that she could not wait for the return of Jade. For behold, First Spark had described entire planets have been devoured for their natural resources and then discarded as poisoned desert wastelands. He described such horrors that Jannah, the queen of compassion, felt. She must depart immediately to help that galaxy. She told First Spark, go to the other fallen realm where Jade has gone, in another sector of the mother ovum. Inform him of my destination and ask him to follow me when he can. First Spark departed on his mission to Jade, and Jannar departed on her mission to the fallen galaxy of Beelzebub. When First Spark had first witnessed the atrocities of Beelzebub, he had tried to confront Beelzebub in person, but found it impossible, for Beelzebub resided in a tower that was surrounded by many technological barriers on a favored home planet, as well as natural barriers that prevented Beelzebub from being able to perceive or communicate with First Spark. Beelzebub had introduced enslaved light and artificial brains in many worlds in his galaxy by making beings believe that they were not natural or mortal. But even so, Beelzebub and his minions eventually became so dense as a result of their dark deeds that he could only operate in vibration fields as high as a youthful first heaven, and then only at the border unless given assistance by residents within the buffer. When First Spark had gone looking for Beelzebub's current home planet, when First Spark had gone looking for Beelzebub's current home planet, the spiritual atmosphere around that planet was so dense that First Spark, of a much faster and higher quality vibration frequency than Beelzebub, could not be seen or heard by Beelzebub, only vaguely sensed, only vaguely sensed as a powerful presence. And the other residents of the planet did not even sense the presence of Beelzebub, for Beelzebub kept their life vibrations beneath his own, that none in his galaxy could successfully challenge him for rulership. Knowing that she would not go along with him, Beelzebub had ages before locked in the dungeons of his dark tower the rightful overseeing Sarah of his galaxy, along with many other luminaries that would not join him in his rebellion. He imprisoned them by bombarding them with energy conjured by dark wizardry, because they had not suspected that such evil would be perpetrated against them. These luminaries were taken by surprise without having created a counter spell. When bombarded with such a force of energy as Beelzebub's technology made possible, life forms were so rattled and shaken as to be easily imprisoned. First Spark comprehended the activities taking place on this planet, though the planet did not comprehend First Spark. This is when First Spark had come to report to Jannah about the fallen galaxy of Beelzebub. Now that Jannah had sent First Spark with her message to far off Jade, she headed to the home world of Beelzebub, for her compassion was so great that she felt called to reach out immediately in love and compassion to the beings of that fallen planet and galaxy of Beelzebub. However, in the many rotations, cycles, and seasons since the visit of First Spark To this far-off galaxy, Beelzebub had taken measures to capture first spark should he or another great being try and interfere in the politics of this galaxy. For Beelzebub had sensed first spark's presence and realized his own vulnerability should an archangel of Madi of Madhiba or perhaps another great being come to visit his realm. And so he had taken measures to capture any such great beings that might come. Beelzebub had placed gatekeepers loyal to him at the key doorways into his galaxy, and especially the region of his home planet and its star system and neighboring systems. Therefore, he knew when Jannah had entered the far reaches of his galaxy, and he had time to launch the following plan. Beelzebub knew that no natural force could kill a living being, especially a powerful great being, but he had created technology that enabled him to so strongly bombard the vibration field of a great being as to stun them. If the bombardment is sustained, the great being would remain stunned and disabled, too disoriented to do more than dream strange dreams. Beelzebub knew not that this great being was Jannah, only that some great being of the feminine spin had entered his galaxy, and he named that feminine presence Sophia, for the presence reminded him of the feminine presence of the rightful Sarah that he had imprisoned with the first use of his stun technology long before the coming of Jannah. Beelzebub secretly feared the feminine wisdom, and he taught his people to fear Sophia even before she came to his home planet. And he put forth a call to the demonic world for evil beings to come serve as overseers of each cell of his personal body. Goodness. With that act, Beelzebub took on the form of a black dragon, and each of the overseers of the cells of his personal body was a black dragon, and Beelzebub seated this life form amongst the planets under his influence, and he altered the climate on those worlds to accommodate the monstrous life forms that he seeded. In other worlds, he seeded cyborgism, especially when he poisoned, especially where his poisons had rendered organic life impossible. And in some worlds, including his home planet, he mixed the two, cyborgism and monstrous life forms. Long before Jannah approached the home planet of Beelzebub, she had begun veiling her glory, taking bodies that would permit her to be seen and heard in the worlds she entered. She knew why First Spark had not been seen or heard in these denser realms, and in the worlds where she walked. As she approached the home planet of Beelzebub, she was called Pistis Sophia, and religions were founded on her teachings wherever she passed, for she was hailed as the oracle of the divine feminine wisdom. But by the time she got to the atmosphere of the home planet of Beelzebub, Jannah had changed her body so many times, each time diminishing her glory even further, that she entered the atmosphere in a weakened condition. And then, as Jannah entered the doorway to take incarnations on Beelzebub's planet, he struck her with all his might. He struck Jannah as she entered his world, and with the full might of his capacity for technological bombardment of a great being, Beelzebub and his multitude of dark wizards stunned and captured Jannah. Exulting that he had captured Pistis Sophia, Beelzebub bombarded her for a great duration, and then, noting her amnesia, he then put her in the body of a harem girl and made her his slave. This was the depth of the amnesia of Jannah, and she did not regain her memory until she was kissed by Jadeh when he rescued her. And the story of the rescue of Jannah by Jadeh now follows. Remember that Jannah had sent First Spark with a message to Jadeh. Eventually, First Spark caught up with Jadeh and delivered the message. Then Jadeh and First Spark, both concerned about Jannah, began a long journey to the sector of the mother ovum, where resided Beelzebub. Jadeh correctly predicted that Jannah would enter the galaxy of Beelzebub in compassion, diminishing her glory to be seen by the eyes of the low beings in the world she walked as Pistis Sophia. He knew how she would be captured by bombardment in her weakened condition. He knew that he must avoid the same fate if he was to free his sweetheart. Jade told First Spark, "We will enter this world in a flash of spiritual lightning that comprehends and transcends the thoughts and plots of Beelzebub. We will disable Beelzebub by reflecting his portion of light back into his eyes, but magnified 1,000-fold, so that he sees his own evil deeds and repents or flees. We will alter the vibration of his planet by touching it with our own higher vibration, thereby causing a multitude of tiny ascending spirals to vibrate forth from potential into actuality, and also to influence the shifting of many descending spirals of consciousness into ascending vibration patterns. The lighting of our comprehension of Beelzebub will disable his technology with his will disable his technological wizardry like a solar flare from the high heavens. The solar flare of our insight will disrupt Beelzebub's enslaved light and will cast open the doors to the prisons in the dungeons beneath his tower, and all of his prisoners will be freed, including Jannah. Then Jadeh and First Spark chanted their enchantment and manifested themselves as the light of comprehension that entered the atmosphere of Beelzebub's home planet as a solar flare and disabled his dark technology. Jadeh and First Spark set the captives free, and Beelzebub fled into the darkness of the shadow realms, for Beelzebub had long prepared back doors into many worlds in case of the need to escape the scene of his crimes. And he had literally seated himself in many worlds and in many forms. Jadeh searched 3 years after the fall of Beelzebub before he found Jannah. When Jadeh found her, she was wandering free in a forest, her soul still in the body of the woman who had once been enslaved as a harem girl, but had escaped from Beelzebub when his technology was knocked out by the Lord's solar flare. Since her escape, Jannah, still unaware of her identity as Jannah, led the naturals that resisted the fallen regime of Beelzebub after the collapsing of his technology. Jadeh came and worked by her side, and she fell in love with him. Then Jadeh kissed her, and Pistis Sophia knew that she was Jannah. Her amnesia was gone once Jadeh kissed her lips. And from that time on, Jadeh has been known to kiss Jannah on the lips, even in public, as a token of remembrance that celebrates their joyous reunion. Nazarenes can celebrate the kiss of remembrance of Jadeh and Jannah as a special theme of celebration during the month of love. Behold, from the time of the kiss of remembrance Jade and Janat began to manifest multiple bodies with which to reach out in mercy to fallen worlds, that they could go on missions as a pair. And how do I know this? Behold, I, Hanukkah, called Sheba, was long ago the Sarah that Beelzebub first imprisoned in preparation for his rebellion, knowing that I would not cooperate with his corrupt plan. That they rescued me along with Janah. I am honored to share this ancient lore with this worthy assembly. Miriam was the next speaker. She said, "Who could top that story?" Sheba laughed and said, "You could." Miriam said, "Perhaps, but only perhaps." Everyone laughed. Miriam said, "I will bring wedding anniversary gifts. I have a gift for Sheba, then a gift for Green Man. To Sheba, the gift of the Lord and Lady is that she and Green Man will be blessed with a child. When for so many centuries Sheba affirmed herself childless, thereby she became infertile. For such is how even the great ones can get stung by our own previous affirmations. The Lord and the Lady as wizard and wizardress conjure healing here and now. You are fertile, Sheba. Now, if you believe, Sheba said, I believe, and she was fertile, for she later gave birth to a child that became an apprentice to Gawinjaman, Gawinjaman, and serves the Zoroaster as a unicorn rider. Miriam said, my gift to Peter Green Man, is my promise that there will arise nature defenders in every land. For I know now, for I know how Peter's heart yearns for more helpers to defend nature from the spoilers. And in the last days, the naturals will rally to save the last forest. Before the last days, an Appleseed Prophet will wander the land of the eagle in amnesia to prepare the way for the naturals. For lo, the Appleseed Prophet, the son of revolution, was once a great Nazarene, but had forgotten. And yet the sleeper will awaken. Here is my prophecy of one great helper of Green Man to come. All right, I'm gonna put this one on another video here, but this one is good. The Appleseed Prophecy. Um, it's all about the last days. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. That goes along with the Sophia and the Gnostics and who they were saying she was. They were saying she was the mother of Yaldabaoth, and Yaldabaoth is Lucifer. So I don't know who Beelzebub is, but he was the Abram. The Abram and the Sarah are the seeders for all the worlds. They're called mother ovums. So yeah, I guess once I get all these on recording, so that people can reference them, so that I can like just talk about this book and this version and my thoughts, I'll do a video of that. But I want to have these up so that as I talk about them, if people want to go back and read it for themselves or and don't have time to, they could just listen to it while they're driving or something. Because some of this stuff is really amazing. Did you see? You heard that up there about the unicorn rider? I mean, and this Gawinaja man, the Zoroaster is the hidden. They're called the hidden arm of the Nazarene. The one that's always they're hidden because the prophets and the ones that are out. Um, yeah. the Zoroaster is the hidden, and a unicorn rider, right? Like, yeah, some of this stuff is pretty amazing. There's one in here, I can't remember who it is. It's about the phoenix though. The phoenix gives Yeshua a feather, and it's a wish. It's such a nice story. I hope you guys get a chance to read all of these stories. So I doubt that I could put them all on the channel, but it'll give me at least a whole year's worth of material. That's how much information is in here. I'll tell you that. But all right, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.